Whoops. Good morning and welcome to Saturday Morning Comic Talk. This is a show where I bring on some amazing indie creators and we talk about whatever I decide to talk about that week. So if you watch the show, you know, every week it's a little bit different. I change the topic. So yeah, this week we have some great creators in the room and we always start things out with introductions. So Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Sean Wood. I am writing Recon and the Little One for this Kickstarter. I'm known for The Fog Within, so far issues 1 through 3, and I'll be continuing that on after Recon is complete. But been writing for 2 years now, and I don't want to ever stop. So
awesome. Yeah, and I've read Fog Within. That was actually when I do my little reviews on YouTube, and that was the first book I reviewed. So yeah, great series. I enjoy that one. I'm looking forward to the new one. I'm backing that, and when Fog Within comes out, I always back that one. So yeah, looking forward to that. So Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me on. My name is Steve Urena. I am a goofball extraordinaire, best known for his horror comedy comics. I do Fast Killer Sloths, Zombies Interrupting a Blind Date, Santa Fighting Robots, and a demon-possessed superhero gets her powers from cursing. So a little bit of everything. So thank you for having me on, and hope you guys check out the Kickstarter, Zombie Date Night 2, live on Kickstarter right now.
Yes. All right. And Jacob, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Jake Ruxer. I just made my first comic book ever. I'm a creator-writer. It's called Cosa Nostra's Comrade. The RKR Ruxer is a little thing that I basically branded myself, I guess you could say, the RKR. I basically took my last name, reworded it a little bit, and then made the little RKR. It stands for Rare Key Runs. Kind of wanted to throw some comic book terminology in there. So, it's been my first experience. It's been a heck of a one. And, I was kind of, if you saw me looking off camera, I was taking down Sean, and Steve, I was taking down your information because, I always love meeting new people in the business, especially as independent guys. A lot of us are very good people. There's a lot of good people in comic books. So I hope, and Ed, you as well. I want us all to, I want to get all your information and, check out your books. So I'm and Ed, thank you for having me be here. I didn't realize I was going to be amongst company. I thought it was just going to be me and Ed. So this is very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, this show, and I know you, I think it was Lori who sent you over.
Yes.
This show's always just kind of a panel, and I let people share their campaigns, and we just kind of talk about some fun and silly stuff. I do one-on-ones here and there, but they're more just kind of one-shots. And then I also do my music show. But that one, I mean, any comic creator is welcome to join the music show, but we kind of talk music. And then if you have something to plug, you can plug it at the end. So if anyone wants to come and talk music, you play an album you've never heard and we judge it. And this last week I judged Kate Bush, and the Kate Bush fans are not pleased with me. So they are coming after me. I'm like, well, at least they're engaged in my content. So
yeah, that's good.
Call that a small victory, even though they're like, you're an imbecile and you have the IQ of a 10-year-old. But I'm like, well, you watched, so thanks for that.
So joke's on you.
They say sometimes any publicity is good publicity. So
yeah, I'll let you know that later on, because I'm like, damn, they're just piling it on. It's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going to change my mind. I still don't like that album, but I respect her and I respect your opinion. And I just would reply. I'm replying to them. Thank you for your passion. Like, all right, what can I say?
That's all you can do. That's all.
It's like I can't say like it's opinion. So of course we can disagree. But yeah, I did get a little mean. So I'll admit that. But yeah, that's if anyone's watched my show, I was trashing 38 Special and no one gave a fuck. They're like, how dare you trash
Kate
38
Bush, how
Special?
dare you?
When I bring in Kate Bush, they were ready to come after me with pitchforks and knives. So I'm like, all right,
That's the
I've
last
learned.
straw.
Like Southern Rock, you can trash it all you want, no one's gonna care. You trash like an iconic British artist and you're going down. So that's good. Lessons learned. Picking better albums and no more angry British people.
I also feel left out because I didn't bring my starter cap. all three of you got a good fashion going on.
This is called I woke up and I was like, just like trudge out of bed, slap on a hat. Like today I'm actually wearing pants. Normally it's like pajama bottoms and a shirt and like no one's gonna see. That trick I learned when I had to teach during COVID times.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they only see this much. Like they see the bust of my head, and it's like if I'm wearing pajamas and flip flops, they're not gonna know.
That's true.
Oh, I'm bottomless as we speak.
There you go. And the cameras won't find that out, so that's good.
That's a different type of show.
Yeah. I don't do the not safe for work programming. You have to find a different podcast for that
after
one.
midnight on Saturdays. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Comic
yeah.
Talk After Dark.
There you go.
No. It's called Only Comics.
Yeah, only comics. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. All right. So, first topic we're going to talk about today. This one kind of comes from the tragic passing of Gene Wilder this week. So, he was one of those iconic superhero villains that we saw. And he was, Lex Luthor and still is kind of some people's only Lex Luthor because I guess the competition's not fierce who's been a Lex Luthor besides him. But yeah, I mean, no one's picking Jesse Eisenberg, sorry to say. So with that said, doesn't have to be Lex Luthor, of course, but who is your favorite superhero movie villain? So Sean, who's your favorite superhero movie villain?
So I feel like this is going to be a lot of people's choice, but from Dark Knight, I mean, Joker for sure. Heath Ledger. I mean, I have watched that movie so many times in theaters and out just because his performance is just incredible. He put his whole life, his whole passion. I think what I've heard in the past is his entire like everyday life outside of the film was him being Joker. So that's
he went full method, which is probably what brought him where he ended up. But man, what a freaking performance!
Yeah. It was nuts.
Good morning, Anthony. So yeah, that one I have to agree. That was I always have to pick 4 because people are gonna pick mine, and that would have been my top pick because I mean it is just a perfect role. So Steve, what would you pick for this one?
So mine is a little bit of unconventional answer. Everybody loves Thanos. Everybody loves Joker. I would have to say from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, I would have to say Mary Jane because she's so mean to him.
Mary Jane, the villain of the story. That's funny.
If you go back to those movies, like all the other Spider-Man movies, like Gwen Stacy's nice, Mary Jane is nice. She is so mean to him. The whole trilogy. And you're like, why are you being so mean to him? He's trying to save people and help you.
Yeah, he had that nice blonde neighbor woman.
Making
the
manager's
and
daughter. Everything. Yeah,
and it's like, come on, and you're gonna go back to Mary Jane, and she's been nothing but terrible to you. And sure, you got to do your emo dance and show her up a little bit, but it's like in the end, you've suffered enough.
Yeah, and also like in the second one, Spider-Man 2 is my favorite comic book movie. I think it's just such a good, as everything. It's got comedy, it's got romance, it's got action. But just like he proclaims his love for her, and then she's like, you know what, I'm going to start dating J. Jonah Jameson's son, and I know this, but I'm going to still do this. And then she in her mind thinks that he might be Spider-Man too. But it's like, that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, and you're just doing this.
See, now you've convinced me. All right, she's the villain. Just like Jenny's the villain of Forrest Gump. I mean, it's like
Jenny's 100% the villain of Forrest Gump. Awful.
I think my perspective has changed on Spider-Man now. Now I have to go back and watch it in that.
I was thinking the same thing.
Rewatch it and think, okay, is she the Jenny of the Spider-Man trilogy?
Is she the Karen of Spider-Man?
Yeah. So, Jacob, who's your pick for this one?
So this actually wasn't my pick, but I just want to say I really agree with Sean because, like anybody who touches Joker is pretty much gold. And if anyone has done research, they know that Heath went into that full bore. They even said that Jack Nicholson, which a lot of people say Jack Nicholson wasn't that good, but Jack Nicholson allegedly, or so I've heard and read, pulled Heath Ledger aside and actually warned him, like, when you go into this character, it's going to mess with you. So, God bless Heath Ledger, he did an outstanding performance, but I think even you mentioned it, that might have led to where he ended up, but, no one can dispute his performance, and that character, that villain, is fantastic. For me, I was going to say John Leguizamo as the Violator in the original Spawn movie.
Okay.
So just because, and I'm sure most of us, if not all of us here, have seen that movie. It's not a great movie, I think.
Some wonky CGI capes and everything.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that his character, like, if you go back and watch that, it almost seems like it's a movie about Violator, and Spawn is just kind of there, because it's John's character, his performance, and just, I feel like he carried that movie. He's the reason why that movie was great. So for me, it would have to be John Leguizamo as the Violator.
Yeah, that's a good one, and one I wouldn't think of, because honestly, I watched that movie once. I watched it in the theater. I was less than happy with it. It was just, I think the CG was just so distractingly bad. And anytime you get a movie where you look at the CG and it just keeps taking you out of the movie, or like a movie soundtrack, same thing. If a movie soundtrack is so bad that I can't focus on the movie, I don't revisit it. But it's one I could probably revisit it now. I don't know. I'd be angry at it for being what it is.
Oh, sure. I would recommend it, because if you go back, every time his character comes into play, like he basically saves the scene. He saves the show. He keeps you engaged. If you ask me, he carried that entire movie. And that's part of the reason why I chose him, just because he did so well as that character. And the only reason it seems like why that movie was good is because of his character. Otherwise, the movie was, you had Martin Sheen in there, and he was a big name, and it's like, no one cared.
I guess if it pops on a streamer, I will give it another shot. I'm like, okay, now Jacob has said I gotta watch it, and just like, don't just yell at bad CG when it comes on, or feel free to yell at it, but focus on the story and not the cape that looks like my daughter did it in her high school class. So for me, I will pick, Travis, sure, Magneto. I'll pick him because, but no, I'm going to go with the original Joker, Jack Nicholson. I guess, no, Cesar Romero's the original Joker, but I wasn't a 60s kid who was watching that. But I would go with him. Heath Ledger would have been my pick. I do love that performance, and that's a movie I like Sean. I've watched it so many times. I've seen it in the theater. I went to go when it was in IMAX. I had to go see it on the IMAX, and then they've done a couple like, oh, it's coming back to IMAX just for one weekend, and I'm like, all right, I'm going back. I'll watch it again because I cannot get enough of that. But Jack Nicholson was kind of the first Joker, and that was the first comic book movie that had me so passionate. That was when I was in middle school, and it was the only thing that mattered to everyone. It was Batman fever everywhere. For a half minute, nerds were cool, and then we went back to where we were. Like, go back to your caves, troll. But it was that moment where it was like the culture was all Batman and all love, and that Jack Nicholson performance. Even if you watch it now, and you can pick the flaws. It's easy to do. That's something you can't do with the Heath Ledger one. But I just love it for the nostalgia's sake of it. It's like I can watch that movie and just makes me feel happy. So I'll go with Jack Nicholson because the best Joker's been taken. All right. So now, speaking of classic movies, what's one you refuse to watch? So this is our second category for today. What's a classic movie you just will not watch, whatever reason it may be? But what's a movie that you're not going to watch now? You're not going to watch ever. So we'll go backwards this time, and we'll have Jacob start us off. So Jacob, what's a classic movie you won't watch?
So I had to think long and hard about this, and I got to be honest with you. I know there's an answer, but I don't have one. So what I was going to bring up is I feel like one of the best movies out there, one of the most well-known movies, even if people have never seen it, they at least know about it, is The Godfather. And anyone who has seen The Godfather, you either absolutely love it or you absolutely hate it. And I think it's just a great movie. So I tried to think long and hard about a movie that I know there's one out there. And I'm a movie buff. I've seen like any movie that you could name. I've probably watched it a minimum of 5 times. Like I love movies, but I was like, man, I'm like, what's a movie that I just refuse to watch? And like, I don't know, the SpongeBob movie. I don't, I don't know. But
that's an all-time classic. How could you say that? You're going to get people are going to be more angry than the Kate Bush people are at me now. You just lost it.
When I was growing up, I'm not afraid to admit this. When I was growing up, everybody was like, "Oh, SpongeBob," and I was just like, "You're watching a cartoon still? Like, what's this? What's this sponge? What's happening here?" No shade or shame to anyone who likes SpongeBob. I'm just saying, you know.
Beware, you've poked the hornet's nest. Now it's over.
I know.
That's good. It'll get the attention away from me. I'll take it.
Which is funny because a girl that I work with, she loves SpongeBob, and her and I became buddies. So she calls me Star because Patrick's a star, and Patrick is SpongeBob's best friend. So I call her Sponge, and she calls me Star. So, you know, I hope that wins me a little bit of credibility, or some brownie points here.
Some brownie points. They won't attack you in the comments. If they do, I'll forward them to you. You can see what they have to say. All right. So, Steve, what's your pick on this one?
All right, so I got 2 answers. So one I definitely haven't seen, but as a huge fan of it, it's I wanted to see it when it came out, but because it was so bad, I was like, all right, I'll just never touch it. The Green Lantern movie. So I'm a huge fan of Green Lantern. Loved Kyle Rayner growing up, and like the fact that he kind of disappeared from, you know, I know I think they're going to bring him into that new show that they're going to do for HBO Max. But like, I will refuse to. I know it's not really a classic movie, but I was so hyped for a Green Lantern movie, and the fact that came out and it got such bad reviews, like it wasn't just like bad. It was like all across the board, just horrible. So I'll refuse to watch that. And then this is a movie that I've seen, but I refuse to watch it again, just because it makes me mad. Is Rudy? Because Rudy, like I know, I not picking at the performances, but like the story of Rudy is that this guy wanted to play for Notre Dame, and you know he finally gets to, but he gets to in his final year of college in like 10 seconds, and I'm like that makes me so mad. It's like, know your worth, like go somewhere else, like it's okay, like you know what I mean, like you could have been a star quarterback somewhere else, or star.
You got 10 seconds at Notre Dame.
In the last year in a game that doesn't matter. It's like if that's the peak of your life, like that's awful. Like I mean, it could be better.
That's funny. Sorry, we're redefined Mary Jane. We've redefined Rudy. It's like today we're bringing new perspectives to these classics. So
yes,
Sean, what's your pick for this one?
So I have one. I don't know if we would consider it classic, but Twilight stuff. I have no interest in any of those whatsoever. Underworld all the way. If you want to go that route, I love Underworld. And for the most part, what is there? 4 movies, I guess. The first 2 are the best, of course, but
agreed.
That story just blew my mind in the first one, at least, and then it was all action the second one. But Twilight is a no-go. I have no interest for sparkling vampires or whatever
vampires
they
who glow.
Yeah,
ruining my first name. They're like, okay, Edward, that's your name. I'm like, no, I'm not a sparkly vampire. Leave me out of this category, please.
So you're not a Team Edward then?
No, I guess I have to be.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I gotta say,
not my Edward. That's what I can say. Like he's not my Edward.
Right.
Don't categorize me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was overthinking. I was overthinking this question, guys, because Steve, I gotta agree with you. I would put Green Lantern on the list, and Sean, with what you just said, Twilight. Yeah, forget about it. Goodbye. Underworld is fantastic.
Yeah. And the thing is, those Twilight movies are beloved by a certain demographic. Right. And then everyone else, like me, like probably anyone in this room, doesn't bother watching it unless you had a wife, a girlfriend, or a daughter at that time that forced you to watch it. Fortunately, I had none of the above, so I've avoided that whole madness.
Yep. Yeah, same. My wife doesn't care for any of that. She makes fun of it too, so it's great. She likes only action movies, none of the chick flicks. So I got lucky on that side.
There you go. Yeah,
but I had another one too. I wanted to say, so that's not really considered a classic because it's not old enough. The Wonderful Life. I've actually never watched and never really been interested in The Wonderful Life. I like the idea of it.
It's a Wonderful Life, but that would be a classic. That's one of the AFI's top 10 movies. So saying that one, that's a big one because I mean it's one of those things that it used to air every single Christmas a lot. Now it's a Christmas story. It's like you can't avoid it. It's running 24/7 on like
24
15
hours
networks.
on CBS. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one that's a big one to skip. And I have seen it a few times. It's one of those ones that I can pass, but my wife does like it, so we put that on at Christmas time. But yeah, that's for that one. Yeah, that's like I said, that's not just like Green Lantern, Twilight. That's one of those considered all-time classics. Like you must see this movie, kind of like you must watch Citizen Kane and you must watch Casablanca, and you know, put it on your list of must-see movies. So yeah, that's a big one. I don't think there's any passionate fans left that are going to come after you, but we'll see.
They might. You
will say, Christmas Vacation, I watched like 20 times every Christmas. That's my ultimate favorite movie ever. So I think I don't have time, I guess, around Christmas to watch that because I'm watching National Lampoon stuff every year.
Yeah.
So.
But here's the question. Have you seen the sequel of Christmas Vacation?
No.
Don't see the sequel of Christmas Vacation. I only discovered that it existed because I was at the library and they have their little DVD section. I was like, what the fuck? There's a sequel to this movie? And
Was
it's
that
just
Vegas
brother,
Vacation?
No, it's Christmas Vacation 2.
With the
his
brother,
cousin
right?
Eddie.
His
It's
brother?
only Cousin Eddie.
Yes,
And
Cousin Eddie, yes.
he gets marooned on an island. It's barely a Christmas movie. They brought in the original Audrey, so it's like she's desperate for some work. But she's coming back to Christmas Vacation 2, and it is just 90 minutes of pain. And the last part of it is this airplane sequence. They just keep looping the same scene because they probably like, fuck, we blew our entire budget on this airplane. We may as well use it for the next 20 minutes.
Wow.
And it's like the airplane flies upside down and Eddie's the one driving the airplane. And like, oh gosh. And we're watching it. And my two kids were like, no, we're not going to watch this. We're not going to taint their favorite, because that's their favorite Christmas movie as well. Yeah. So they are not here to taint it. But I'm like, I've started this thing. I will finish it. And I kept pausing the DVD, like, how long is left? Holy shit. This is the longest 40 minutes of my life.
It's just a 40-minute movie, hour 40, hour 35.
Oh my gosh. It is brutal. So it's funny. I wish I didn't know it existed. But like I said, there it is in the library. I'm like, wow, how bad can it be? And oof. Yeah. It's all that you can expect when it's nothing but Cousin Eddie and worse. So yeah, that's something. But yeah, that's just
I can only imagine the review for that too. It's like the shitter is full and this movie is shit.
There you go. So you've created what should have been said. That was like the one review. I guess it probably came out when it wasn't internet era, but damn, that's like the perfect review. You got to go drop that on Rotten Tomatoes
or on a letterbox.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Cause yeah, of course that movie's got like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, and yeah, but it's like has all the fan reviews. So you gotta add that one, because that's the perfect description of that movie. And you don't even need to see it to know that that's the perfect description of that movie. Yeah. So I actually went down the AFI list to see which movies I won't watch from that list. And the two I came up with were 2001, because I started it when I was a kid and I found it horrendously boring, because it's just like pictures of ships in the air and it feels more like a boring space documentary. And I don't know if it gets better, because I gave up after 5 minutes. And then Easy Rider, because I hate things about bikers. Like I won't watch Sons of Anarchy or any of that, because I grew up around real bikers, and I'm just like, I've lived that. I've lived with them. I've seen them. I've hung with them. I don't want to watch movies about them. So those are my two that I kind of picked. And any of yours are like right on my list too, because yeah, there's no reason to see any of those.
So another movie that people love that I want to go back to it because I know people love it. Maybe I just caught it on the wrong day, but maybe you guys could tell me the new Dune. I thought the first one, I know the second one I heard is amazing. The first one, I couldn't get into it. I was like, there's sand. And I was like, what the hell's going on in this?
Spice sand.
Yeah. Spice sand. But I know the books, and I know the books are good. And like, the David Lynch movie and everything is what it is. But I know the Timothée Chalamet one, I was like, when is this going to start? I'm halfway through it.
I will say I didn't even think about it, but I tried to watch the original Dune, the movie from.
Oh, that one's brutal.
Yeah, when I saw metal bikini men and stuff, and like all like I guess it was CGI type of stuff they're trying to do, or maybe it was puppets. I can't remember. I think I got 20
Puppets
minutes
back
into it,
then.
and I was like, no, I'll just watch the new one and just go from there. I don't need to watch this classic. It's just.
I gotta be honest,
awful.
I haven't seen neither of them. And honestly, Steve, when you brought it up, for some reason, I got the thought of Blade Runner.
Mhm.
I started watching the first one, but like Ed, you had mentioned about what was the movie you were just talking about?
2001.
2001,
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
said it was boring. I thought Blade Runner was kind of boring, but then there's people that are like, no, you gotta keep watching it. And then of course there's the remake or the reboot with Ryan Gosling, I think, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Have you guys seen either of those? Should I go back and give them another shot?
I think also for these, like, you just got to catch them on the right day. Because if you're
Yeah.
like tired and like you're just like, I don't want to deal with this spice shit right now. Like,
Yeah,
it
I got
was-
knocked out twice by Dune because I was watching it on HBO Max, and it was just like, I can't keep myself awake for this movie.
Yeah.
It was the cure to insomnia for the first couple times I watched it, but I finally gave it another shot because everyone, like you said, it said how amazing Dune 2 was. I'm thinking, if I just go in and watch Dune 2, I'm going to be really confused
Yes.
because the first movie is just kind of 3 hours of exposition, it feels like.
Yeah,
But
I'm guessing it's
it
that.
does tie in together where by the end I'm like, okay, I can see the validity of part one, but I'm not planning on revisiting it. If I wanted to
Right.
rewatch anything, I'd rewatch part two because that one it moves better, it flows better. And I mean, I guess if you're adapting half a book, a lot of times the first half of the book is a lot of the buildup, and the second half is the payoff. So you're watching 3 hours of the buildup.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
people may disagree.
But you can't put that on the movie poster. 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Tune in
Watch
for
this,
3
there's number
hours
two
of
of you.
buildup and spice exposition.
Yeah, you're gonna
3
love,
hours
you're
of
gonna love the
pain.
next one, but this one, like, just strap in.
Yeah, in a world with sandworms and a lot of sand, it's like tune in for not much happening.
Just like the desert, it's dry.
See, you should be writing taglines. You're ready for this,
Yeah, I should.
like angry Rotten Tomato tagline.
Yeah.
All right.
For
So,
a
yeah, we-
$15 movie ticket and a $24 popcorn, get ready to enjoy your waste of time.
Your sand to enjoy sand.
Enjoy.
My favorite review of a movie, my parents went to go see Vanilla Sky, and they said it was terrible, and they said somebody was in the bathroom and was like, Vanilla Sky, more like vanilla shit.
I don't know
Oh,
what
that's
happened in that movie,
funny.
man. Like that was
And it's funny because it's a remake, and I'm thinking, what would inspire them to remake the original one? And I watched the original. I found the original better, but they're both kind of confusing. And it's like, that's what you're going to remake? Like, he was pretty hot at that point. He was just coming
Yes.
off almost famous.
Yeah.
So he was riding the wave of popularity, and then it just was like, ooh, you just hit a brick wall named Vanilla Sky. Sorry, guy.
wait, Vanilla Sky was a remake? Is there anything that isn't a remake anymore?
I don't know. I think the
Scarface
trend
was
is-
a remake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. They're talking about remaking it again. Like
Well, yeah, because if there's money to be made and
Yeah.
they don't want to pay any of us for IP, it's like, come on, we got 4 in this room. Buy some new stuff.
That's right.
Let's have some interesting things. But no, let's watch Snow White again, but this time with CG elves.
Yeah, we're not using dwarves.
CG dwarf. We
Dwarves
could
got
cast little people, but no. How about CG? We'll put real animals in, but CG dwarves. That's how they're going to compromise. So, I don't know. I watched the trailer. It's painful. It's something like
I'm not a fan of these live action Disney movies. Like,
yeah.
who's asking for this? Like, who is asking for a live action, Beauty and the Beast? It's like, why? It's not necessary.
I think it's just a money grab.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
all that
I
stuff
think-
is funny. Yeah.
it's cash grab, and Disney owns the IP, so they don't have to pay anything
No.
for it. It's like, okay, we own Snow White, we own all of this, and we just got to get someone to do kind of a little script revision, and who knows what it's going to be. I mean, now they're remaking, like, they're giving all their villains movies, so like, oh, are they going to be sympathetic? Was Mufasa teased as a child? Is that why he killed his brother? Are we
I
supposed
hated
to
the idea.
sympathize with that fuck? No, he killed him in cold blood. I don't want to hear that shit. Don't tell me but he was bullied by the hyenas. No, fuck that. No, it's ridiculous.
I feel that way about the Cruella movie, because I'm like, she killed dogs. Like, how can you redeem that? She
can't be
killed
sympathetic.
101 Dalmatians. She wants to kill 101
He wants to
Dalmatians.
make a coat.
Yeah, out of your dog. Like,
But
That's not
her
that's not
father
a
was mean
hero.
to her. Oh, let's give her a hug. She skinned puppies, but let's sympathize.
Yeah,
Since
Damn it,
we're
Disney.
not giving Michael Vick a hero movie. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yet. Just
Yeah.
wait. Disney was like, holy shit, they
Redemption.
just overheard this, and now they're gonna be like the Michael Vick story.
Well, yeah, you'll have an OJ movie, but like OJ is the hero.
He got bit by a dog when he was younger, and that turned him.
Since we're kind of on the topic, do you guys feel like Disney is ruining some movie franchises?
I think it depends.
I'd say their own movie franchises. They're trashing their own, classic animation for sure.
Yeah, I feel like they ruined Indiana Jones. I feel like they ruined Star Wars.
That
I
last
feel
Indiana
like
Jones. Oof.
oh yeah, I
Those
feel like
last
they
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the Alien one either.
Like the last one for Indiana Jones, I was like into it for a little bit, like until there was like, oh, and then he went back in time. I was like, wait, what? I was like, did I miss something?
Now
That's
there's
just not the spirit of that movie. It's like, he's exploring stuff. He doesn't need to go back in time.
Yeah, put him back in a cave doing his thing.
Yeah, that's it.
And it started, like you said, it started off well enough. I mean, people got really pissy about the female lead coming in, but they didn't like Shia LaBeouf either. So it's like, all right, you're not gonna like
people hate
anything.
new. I don't mind new as long as it makes sense.
But then, then you think then a time traveling airplane, and it just
yeah, I was like, where are we going?
Fell
here?
off the rails completely. And if you're a fan of
fell
Indiana
off.
Jones and the last whatever, go ahead, attack me in the comments. I'm ready.
But I heard the game,
Why
is
there's so many of
incredible.
those?
The new Indiana Jones game
Yeah.
for PlayStation and Xbox
Mhm.
I heard that's really good.
Yeah, I can imagine you could do it's kind of Tomb Raider style,
Yeah.
but better and polished. So yeah, I would definitely pick that up.
Did you guys see Alien Romulus? Because I feel like they screwed pooch on that one too.
I liked it, but I know a lot of people didn't like it as well.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I just think it was in terms of the story. I think it was like made like 36 years too late. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Wanting to be the direct sequel to the first one,
Yeah.
and even finding the alien floating in space. I mean, I think it was. Yes, the bar's really low for alien movies right now.
Yeah,
And
because
there's
a lot of
been
them were terrible. So I was like,
so
all right, this
many bad
makes
ones
sense
that
at
a
least.
tolerable one has me happy. I'm like,
Yeah.
cool. That wasn't entirely dog shit. I'll call it a win.
Don't get me wrong. I
Really
still
didn't.
liked it. I still liked it, but I just didn't think it measured up to
No,
especially
I don't think that'll ever measure. I don't think any of those will measure.
No,
to
the first
Alien
two
or
are
Alien.
such a
Yeah.
high bar.
Oh, for
All you're
sure.
going to get is something that mediocre is the best they can aim for, because they're really not trying anything new. And then they're talking about the series on Earth. Maybe bringing it to Earth can be something different, like an alien rampaging through a city.
Yeah.
That could be something fun to watch, but it'll probably be like anything. They have a giant open world like the last Jurassic Park movie. It's like, ooh, the dinosaurs are out in the wild, but we're still going to make everything set in one isolated location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of just, I want 90 minutes of dinosaurs rampaging through cities.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're going camping. Oh, damn, mom just
shit,
got
yeah.
eaten by a T-Rex in her tent.
Yeah.
That's the movie I wanted. And instead we got, okay, they're on the island and they have to stop. I'm like, oh, you had the potential. But of course, they'll keep going back to it because, again, they have the
It makes
IP.
money. It's a summer movie. Yeah.
It's coming out this summer, I think. Same
Yeah.
thing. It's isolated again.
Oh, the new
Yeah.
one with Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
The reboot of the reboot. But yeah, that's what we get. And again, here we are. We got IP in this room right now, getting like infinite IP. I've had plenty of amazing creators, and it's like, yet let's see another Jurassic Park and do the same thing. Like, set it in one small place. Because just the opening the world was like, when that one ended, I thought, oh, now we have some potential. And they did like a rampaging through the city thing, but we already saw one tear up San Diego for some reason. And yeah, I don't know. I guess we're just yelling at clouds by this point.
We are today, but I love it. Just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I feel like with Jurassic World, they were like, we had the T-Rex in San Diego. Why don't we take all of them and put them on the entire world?
Mhm.
I mean, it was interesting. I enjoyed the first Jurassic World. It was a nice little
Yeah.
twist, and but I feel like at this point we're kind of beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
Or
And
Dead
I'm
Dinosaur.
an easy target for dinosaur movies, honestly. I mean, it's
I'll
like,
still
you
go
throw
watch the
dinosaurs
new
at
one.
me, and I will still see as much as I'm pissing and moaning right now. I'll still go see everyone in the theater.
Yeah,
I feel like
I'll
there's
leave,
a lack of
and
dinosaur movies now.
I'll feel satisfied. Like, cool, dinosaurs ate people.
Yeah.
I'm in, and
Steve.
it's like no plot. It doesn't matter, but give us something new.
Steve,
we got
you
a
think
giant
there's lack of
robot
what?
that Sean can give us. We got zombies. So yeah, let's see some new stuff.
Yeah.
Steve, you said you feel like there's a lack of what?
Dinosaur movies. Like there's not as many
Mm.
as there used to be. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's also like the time period. Like we were talking about Alien, like that was the time period like that broke through, and then there was a million Alien type of movies. Like, you know,
Yeah,
Jurassic
everything
Park
was
has a
following
million.
that formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what the next thing is in horror and action and everything like that, where it's like, oh, this movie's really good, and then you're going to see like 10 or 20 of
Well,
similar.
it did happen for a while with zombies. Zombies had
Yes.
this renaissance where
Absolutely.
everything was zombie movies, and then they just kind of fell out of favor. And then
Yes.
vampires became the really hot thing. I guess we haven't seen a huge werewolf resurgence. We've seen they
No.
were in Twilight, but that doesn't count because that's
Yeah.
that's saccharine. That's not real horror. So it's like, are we going to see a werewolf renaissance or something like that? Because yeah, zombies had their moment, vampires had their moment, but what's the next moment? And it won't be dinosaurs. I think they're just too expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have the tentpole franchise and you're the Jurassic Park franchise, you know it's going to make money on name alone. But do you want to make a new dinosaur movie that's going to cost you hundreds of millions of dollars and it's a new IP?
Unless you're Velocipaster.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I'm in for that.
Yeah.
All right. So, Fish, what were today's topics? The first thing we talked about was favorite movie villains. Right now, we're talking about classic movies you will never watch. So we're kind of wrapping that up, and we've gone way off on a tangent, but that's okay. That's if you watch my show, you know we kind of live on the tangents because that's where fun conversations begin. It's like I guide us, and then we get completely lost. So now we're gonna switch it up entirely. I always throw a music topic in here because I'm a huge music fan. I do a music podcast every Wednesday. And what is your dream concert? So you can resurrect someone. You have all the power in the world to bring back one artist for one night. Who are you bringing back? Yes. Fish has joined me on too many tangents already, but they were beautiful moments, and we will always remember them and savor them. All right, so this time we'll let you start, Steve. So everyone's got a chance to go first.
Sure.
So what's your dream concert?
I'm a big rap guy, and even if you want to resurrect somebody, I'd love to see a Biggie Smalls concert. I think that would have been crazy. The fact that we still talk about him, he only had 2 albums. Like Tupac, also, you know, everybody loves Tupac, but Tupac had tons of albums. Biggie Smalls only had 2, and we, you know what I mean. We still hear all his stuff.
Yeah.
So I would do that, and probably MF Doom, because I know MF Doom passed away a little while ago, and I would have loved to see him live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both. I would love to see either one of those. Because yeah, I didn't go to a lot of rap concerts back in the time that there were great ones playing, and now it's like I've missed so many of the classics because they're just gone. Okay. Yeah, you want a time machine to make them actually good, not fat actors.
And then that's crazy too, because they're still performing and they're still going strong. Like was it Aerosmith? Elton John was still going strong.
Man,
it's like,
they're all performing, but you don't want to see them in this current form.
No.
It's like let's rewind. Even I'll take them back to the 80s. Let's not even give the 90s version. Like let's get the 80s version of all of them because they all fell apart pretty hard. It's like, all right, Metallica is going to release The Unforgiven Part 5, and it's like, all right, no more, please.
Like,
and then they recorded that abysmal album with Lou Reed. So what happened from them from the 90s on? It's like, yes, let's just forget it. Axl made Chinese Democracy, took 25 years, but yeah, let's bring that version back. I'll go to that concert with you, Fish. All right, so Jacob, who are you bringing back for one night only?
Well, I think Steve and I are going to be buddies here because Tupac. Yeah, I started listening to him when I was 3 or 4 years old because I have an older brother. He just had a tremendous impact. You know, even to follow up on Biggie, you know, it's like he's quoted as saying, if you asked 10 different people who Tupac is, you would get 10 different answers. And I think that's part of the reason why so many people are so attracted to him, just, you know, not only as an artist, but as a human being, because with him, when you saw him in interviews, when you saw him in his music, when you saw him in movies, he he behaved like a real person, and a real
Mhm.
person isn't just good. They aren't just evil. They aren't just a hypocrite. They aren't, they're dynamic and they're complex. And with
Yeah.
Tupac, you saw a real human being. And I think that's the draw to him. I think it's not
Mhm.
necessarily just his music. I think it's who he was. And for me, it's Tupac. And because I was too young and I never got to see the guy. So if I could, Steve, I think we should get together and resurrect both of them and get those guys together on stage. And I think that would be, oof.
I always joke though that when they passed away, I think their legacies became even bigger than what could have been. Which, it sucks that they died too young, but I feel like if they continued living on, we'd be seeing them in like Geico commercials and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I would think about how would have Tupac taken in the fact that Dr. Dre signed Eminem? Like, what would have happened there? Like,
exactly, that would have been. But
no, it's fun to think about because a lot of people talk about Tupac getting into politics, and Tupac actually wanted to stop making music. He wanted to produce music and he wanted to make movies. So he was kind of trying to, do more.
Now, what if Tupac started making dinosaur movies? He got the license to the Jurassic Park movies. What would that be like?
Yeah, I heard someone say in an interview that Tupac could have become what Will Smith was. Like he could have become that rapper turned actor and become this huge phenomenon, but he just didn't get the chance. He was in a movie, but he didn't have a movie career.
Oh, he was actually
really good movies though. Like Juice, he was excellent.
Yeah, he was in 6 movies actually.
Okay, yeah. See, you are the experts in this room on that one.
So George Lucas, or so I've read, and anybody can correct me on this if it's incorrect, but so I've read, George Lucas actually wrote the part of Mace Windu for Tupac. Tupac was supposed to audition for it, but he died before he was able to audition. Could you imagine Tupac as Mace Windu?
I don't know. I can't imagine him being toned down by George Lucas because Samuel L. Jackson, he's such a dynamic actor and he became so flat. So I'm kind of glad I didn't see the Tupac version because like all those acting chops you got, forget about those. Tone it down.
I would have loved like George Lucas shot. You know what I mean? Because he pissed off Tupac.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, maybe Tupac would have refused to be flat, but I couldn't believe Samuel L. Jackson came out so dull in those prequels. And now I'm hating on the prequels. So, all right, let's open another group of people who want to come after me.
You were talking about how Jenny ruined was like the villain in Forrest Gump.
Jenny's the villain, yeah.
Tupac actually read for the part of Bubba.
Oh wow!
I thought you were going to say Jenny. I was like, wait,
no. Yeah, I mean, he was no. I'm not gonna. Yeah, no. That's
yeah.
No.
Tupac could have been. Yeah, I mean, like Fish was saying, you live long enough, you'll ruin your reputation. Tupac and Martha Stewart with Snoop Dogg. It's like, okay, let's be happy we never had to see that.
Who would have thought?
All right, so Sean, who's your pick for this one?
So I'd say Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. That would just be insane because I was too young to really know what was going on back then. I mean, I was born in 88, so
yeah,
I think he died in 93, 94, something like that. So,
yeah, I believe.
So I mean, I've heard all this stuff all my life, but I didn't ever get to have a chance to see concerts. So that would just be insane. So
yeah. See, that was my number one pick too, and my story's crazy because my dad had that year they were going to be playing in the Forum, which is now an iconic show. They talk about it. I think they released it even on a bootleg, not a bootleg, but like an official one. And my dad was like, okay, I'm gonna get you tickets for that for Christmas. So Christmas morning, I'm opening everything. I'm like, all right, these are cool, but were you able to get those Nirvana tickets? He goes, oh man, that line was just too long. I'm not gonna wait in a stupid line for that crappy band. Like, damn it. So then they were announced as the headliners for Nirvana or for Lollapalooza that year. So of course I snatched up my tickets right away. I'm like, hell yes, because it was Nirvana, it was Smashing Pumpkins, it was Nick Cave. I mean, this was a ridiculously good lineup. Yeah. And Beastie Boys, and it's like top to bottom, it was just going to be phenomenal. I think, Green Day opened, the Breeders. It was supposed to be a Green Day, Breeders, Nick Cave, Beastie Boys, Nirvana, and Smashing Pumpkins. So it's like, holy shit, that's like the perfect 90s kid day for me. Yeah. And then Kurt Cobain took his life, and that, now Smashing Pumpkins got moved up to headliner, but it's like, oh man. And the thing is, I had a job. I could have just gone and, bought the tickets myself, but I waited for Christmas. And even after Christmas, I got all grumpy, but I still could have gone and bought them. And it's just one of those things I live in constant regret because I was that close. And then people talk about that show still. And like I said, I think they just released it in the In Utero Deluxe Edition. The Forum concert is one of the bonus discs that come in. And I'm just like, oh man, I should have been there. I can't believe I missed it. And I can grumble about my dad, but in the end, I had a job. I could have bought my own ticket. And
but you want that Christmas moment. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm still. I still am pissed at my dad. Don't get me wrong, but I still had power to go over it. But I just thought after when the Forum show has kind of going, because it was I think sometime in December where it would have been during my Christmas break, and I thought, well, I missed that, but it's cool because they're going to do Lollapalooza. So I just thought, okay, no problem. I'll see them there. And that lineup was just stacked. I mean, that was such a good lineup. So I thought this is better. This is like the dream moment. I'm going to see some of my favorite bands all in one spot, and then, lost it. So it's one of those things, I guess I looked at it and thought, oh, they're headlining Lollapalooza anyway. I'll just go to that. So yeah, that would be mine, right there with you on that. But I had my opportunity. You were too young. I was old enough and just didn't do it. So that Fish, you're right, we had no idea what was coming. Had I known, obviously I would have gone in and be like, okay, I might be making $4 an hour right now, but I'm going to take this entire paycheck and buy the best seat in the house for that Forum show, because again, I mean, who cares? They're a high schooler. You got money, just waste it. So I would have been happy to waste it all had I known. I mean, I dropped, I think it was like, even back then, like $100 for that Lollapalooza ticket, and I thought, I don't care, I'll pay double this. But yeah, you don't know what's going to come. So you're not able, you can't make the time machine decisions. So I guess you do what you can, but that's when I kick myself repeatedly over. I think about it still. I wake up like, damn it, dummy.
Sorry for bringing it up. I didn't mean to.
Oh no, this was my topic, and that was always my original pick. So I picked the topic. I blame myself. So yeah, that one, and then my other one I could pick, since I knew someone was going to pick Nirvana, but since I have a real Nirvana story, I'm like, I'll even double up on one. I would love to see Bob Marley back in concert.
Oh yeah,
because
cool.
I've seen footage of his performances, and he always had such amazing energy, and I love his music. So that would be one I'd love to see. I mean, I've seen his children performing his songs. I've seen Ziggy Marley, Stephen Marley performing Bob Marley songs, but it's never going to be that real moment, and that's the closest we'll get. But that's when I was like Sean, I was way too young when he was actually in his prime, because I think he died in 81, and that would have put me at like 7 or 8. So I was way too young to have experienced it. So it's not like the Nirvana one where I had an actual opportunity and didn't do it. It's just I'd love to be able to see him playing back in his prime. So that's my alternate pick, since Nirvana, like, yeah, I knew someone was going to pick that, but that's so close where you can't get it back, but what can you do? And then, yeah, Fish is saying Johnny Cash in his prime, that would be amazing too. And that one, I think he was supposed to play one of the Lollapaloozas that I had tickets to, but his health wasn't good enough for him to pull it off. So that was one where I almost saw him because I was at the show he was supposed to be at, but he was just in poor health. But really wouldn't have been his prime, I guess.
No,
because if he was playing and he was 260, they were recording those American recordings up until the point he died. So he was probably would have been just kind of wheeled on the stage, where like I saw BB King the year before he died. And yeah, sure, it was BB King, but it was rough.
It was not what he once was.
He literally had to be wheeled on and off the stage. He was forgetting lyrics. He was stopping in the middle of songs and just like, oh, what was I playing? It's like, oh man, I know you're an icon.
Oh
but
man.
That I'd rather not see him than see him in that condition.
That's like how Elvis got towards the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So we've talked all our topics today. Now we're going to dig into some campaigns. We have 3 live campaigns right now. And then you can, Jacob, you can just tell us about your book. I pulled up a couple of the covers. You can tell us about your book and where people will be able to find it because I know you just got it printed.
Yeah. So the name of my book is Cosa Nostra's Comrade. I've had a few other podcasts. I'm just going to go full spoiler with you guys, if that's
Go
okay.
for it. You go for it.
So this is it takes place in 1983. It's about an ex-Soviet special forces soldier by the name of Andrei Dmitriev. He served in the Russian invasion of Afghanistan in 1979, and for whatever reason has relocated to Brooklyn, New York. The cover you're looking at right now is actually only 25 of these were made, and they're made out of metal. This is actually
Nice.
if any of you guys are
Metal Gear Solid
Yes.
PlayStation. Yep.
Yes.
I saw it. I'm like, ooh, that's like the PlayStation 2, like the PlayStation long boxes that
Yes.
they used to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So he's an ex-Soviet special forces soldier, served in Russian invasion of Afghanistan. For some reason, he has mysteriously relocated to Brooklyn, New York. It was put in a situation where he unintentionally saves the life of an Italian-American mafia don. And he basically takes him in and gives him a job. That's kind of the gist of it. I got the idea for this in 2006, shortly after the movie Lord of War came out with Nicolas Cage. It's got nothing to do with that movie, but for some reason I got this idea all the way back then. I thought it would be cool to have a Russian working for the mafia. That movie's about a Ukrainian arms dealer, but I got the idea watching that. But I'm like, how the heck do you have a Russian working for the mafia? It just doesn't happen, right? Because anyone who knows the mafia knows you got to be Italian to be part of the group. So that's how I had to figure. Oh, bless you! I had to figure out how. How are they going to let him somewhat into their inner circle? Well, what's the best way to get someone to trust you? You save their life. So he saves his life and one of his capos, and gives him a job. So right now we don't know why Andre is making these choices to go along with these American criminals. We don't know what is in store for him at this point. He's basically, and we don't know why he's in America. Why has he mysteriously come here? Is it just because he got out of active service in Afghanistan and just wanted to change, or is it something a little deeper than that? This was something that ruminated for years. I didn't actually, be honest with you guys, I didn't get into comic books until 2019. And I thought to myself, there's a long story behind it, but I know we're kind of pressed for time. So I was like, I want to make a comic book. And I'm like, okay, what the heck is it going to be about? And then I remembered that idea, thinking it would be cool to have a Russian working for the mafia. And also, I think you guys can agree that like in cinema and stuff like that, the Russian character has always been like Ivan Drago, again, like a Soviet, like a James Bond villain or something like that, or a goofy, quirky character or a tough guy. You never see the Russian like out front. So I know in the comments now, I'm probably going to be labeled as a communist sympathizer and a Russian and prejudiced against Italian Americans, which is not the case. But if you feel that way, please feel free to go ahead and comment, because that's the world we live in now.
That's all right. You're not insulting Kate Bush, so no one's going to come after you.
That's the last straw. Kate Bush, listen, Russian.
Kate Bush is the line that people like Russian communists, do your thing. You don't like Kate Bush's voice, you are a stupid 10-year-old moron.
But yes, so I've always loved, not to quote Ray Liotta from Goodfellas here, but he says, ever since I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. I didn't want to be a gangster, but I think the gangster genre is very alluring in America. Even if you don't like or are interested in it, everybody knows about the mafia. So I figured, and I was like, and I love gangster stuff. We talked about The Godfather earlier. So, I thought it was a good genre to jump into. And I think it's something that's very alluring, especially for us guys. Who wouldn't like to basically sit around all day? If you take out all the negativity, right? All the criminality, if you get rid of all of that, it's basically a bunch of guys sitting around with their friends all day, wearing nice clothes, jewelry. They have money, they have nice cars, they have homes, they have jewelry, pretty girls on their hip. That's kind of like the American dream, right? Everybody wants all those nice things, but they do things that are illegal or immoral to be able to live that way. But it's romanticized. So I think the gangster genre is very alluring. So
Yeah, it's
but
fun. I have a book in that genre as well. So yeah, it's a fun
Oh.
genre to write into.
you're going to have to, and I insist on it, you're going to have to share that with me, because
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I
I'll
want
send you a
all-
digital copy.
I'd like all you guys to share with me if you don't mind. I
Sure,
want to check
absolutely.
everything out.
Yeah, we can send digital copies, and then I'm always happy to share for either of your campaigns. If you need something to add as something for your backers, you can borrow Immortal Era, you can use Corruptor. Always happy to share those if you wanted to put them as stretch goals for your campaigns.
Cool.
So my Kickstarter has been done for a while. We had a lot of delays with printing and a couple other things that I don't want to mention for the sake of not embarrassing some people. But you can get the comic book now. I don't have like a platform set up for it. So I know
Okay.
most people probably aren't comfortable looking someone up on PayPal and sending them money. If you
Mhm.
want to do that, that's fine. You can look me up on Facebook under my name, just as you see it on the screen, and on Instagram. I have it right there. You know, I'm probably going to set up a Square at some point. A friend of mine in Texas does that. So I'll probably do that at some point, but I am going to be having a local comic book signing on Free Comic Book Day, May 1st, locally. So I'm really looking forward to that. I didn't get into this, and I'm sure you guys can agree, this comic books are kind of a money pit. You know, I didn't get into this to make money. I got into it because I love comics and I wanted to do it, which I'm sure, you know, you guys can agree.
It's our version of a boat. We know we're going to keep sinking money into it, but we love that damn boat, so we will keep doing it. So yeah,
I'll just leave.
Truck never showed up at my house to back in all the cash, so I'm still waiting.
I'll just leave you with these two things. One, I would just say, because Ed, as you know, I actually have to dip out of here because it's almost 1:30. I'll leave you guys with two things. One, always remember good things take time, and number two, they say teach a man to like comic books, he'll be broke for a week. Teach a man to make comic books, he'll be broke for a lifetime.
Nice.
You put that on a shirt. That's pretty good.
That's a good one, and it's factually it checks. So, all right. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate having you in that. We can definitely set up a time to do a one-on-one, but yeah, for the Saturday morning, this is always the format we do. So thanks for joining us. Good luck on your book, and you're welcome to join us anytime. And just know that every week the topics change. So if you come on, it's not like, oh, I already talked about that. Always new. So you're always welcome. And thanks for coming on.
No, I'd love to come back. And Sean, are you coughing or sneezing? I keep saying bless you.
A little of both, but
okay. Right.
I'm still battling a cold, but I guess that's the beauty of the internet. Like, I'm not going to infect you all, so we're good.
Sean, Steve, if you guys send your stuff to Ed, have him send it to me, or if you guys want to do it separately, I'm sincerely interested. So I'd love to keep in contact with all you guys. And Ed, thank you so much, and nice meeting all of you.
All right, nice meeting you. All right, so Steve, let's tell us about Slowpokes. Zombie Date Night Slowpokes is another book. You can tell us about Slowpokes too, because that shit is good.
Yes, right. Thank you. So
tell us about Zombie Date Night too, because one, I'm gonna interrupt you before you start. I love number one. I think I wrote a little quote for you for number one because it was a lot of fun. I'm a fan of both your works. So
thank you. I can
honestly say, like, not just here I am the host, I better say it's good. Like, no, this is legitimately good stuff that you should all be buying. So if you're out there watching this, trust me, both of these authors are doing exceptional work, and Steve does what I can't do, and that is funny. So let's tell us about Zombie Date Night 2.
Sure. So what makes a blind date even more awkward? Zombies, of course. So that is my pitch for Zombie Date Night. If you're on a blind date with somebody and it's awkward, it's weird, your hands are clammy, you're trying to make jokes, things aren't landing, things aren't going the right way, but a zombie invasion happens, what do you do? Or if the date is going well and a zombie invasion happens, do you stay? Do you go? Do you fight to see where things go? That's kind of where Zombie Date Night comes from. So this is the second part. At the end of the first one, you find out that the zombies are called, I call them zombies, which they are zombies cannot function without a mate. So the zombies work together in pairs to feed and to eat and to make sure that they feed their hunger, but they work off in pairs. But so Zombie Date Night 2, after the effects of Zombie Date Night 1, the mall that they're living in, they're running out of food. So they're trying to figure out, where the food source is. It's on the other side of the mall. So they have to band together and fight zombies to get to the food source. But as that's happening, the awkward relationship between Jack and Ginger, who are the main characters, it's a will they or won't they situation. Will they ever get to a point of getting out of the friend zone, or are they going to be in their friend zone forever? So this time around, I got comics, I got T-shirts, I got posters, I even got zombie Valentines because we launched on Valentine's Day. So as he's circling through, so if you want to check out anything with zombies and love, this might be the comic for you. It's a horror comedy, 24 pages. And lots of fun stuff involved. So yeah, you can see the great art by Sergei Domenik.
I love the art. It's got that kind of cartoony but violent style, and those shirts are badass. I didn't see the shirts when I was scrolling through. I just clicked and bought. But now I got to second guess myself. Like I kind of need one of those shirts. So
yes.
Yeah,
so
they're in the add-ons, I assume, right?
Yep, in the add-ons. We also have tiers where it's like if you want the shirt in the comic, you get a little bit of money off. If you want to order, shirts for your friends, you could put it in the add-ons. I also have everything from the first Zombie Date Night campaign is also there. So if you missed the first shirt or the first poster or the first comic, you could add that on.
Nice.
And also for the highest tier, if you back and want to get all the stuff from Zombie Date Night 2, I will make you a handmade Valentine from me, which is, I am not a great artist, but I will do the best that I can.
Do your best, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the link in the comments.
Awesome.
So you can definitely get in there and grab that.
Sure.
So the link is here. Definitely click on that. I mean, you saw that shirt. That's badass. You need one.
Yep. So the shirts are done by the artist. His name is Vertebrae 33. He makes stuff for Hot Topic. He makes stuff for he did some Star Wars cards for Hasbro, or I think it was Hasbro. And just super talented. And I'm very lucky to work with. I can't draw at all, so I'm very lucky to find such great artists to work with. And then the Valentines, the artist, his name is Jason Thomas, and this is his first time being part of this stuff. So it's very cool to be able to put artists who haven't been seen a lot, put them out there. Hopefully they'll get more work.
Yeah, that's great. And I love the artwork for both the books that you guys are doing. They have that lighter cartoony style and just really cool. So Sean, tell us a little bit about your book.
Yep. So I have zombies as well.
Awesome.
And robots versus zombies. Who doesn't like robots and who doesn't like zombies?
Great.
So the idea is Recon, the robot. He's kind of like a Wall-E type character. He's protecting this girl, which happens to be my daughter. The idea came from the fear of my daughter. She's 4, growing up in this crazy world that we're living in, especially now. Well, like 6 months after I wrote this story, and how as a father I want to protect her. And my son's personality is very quirky. He's 10. So the robot's kind of me and my son protecting my daughter, and it just turned into a zombie story. The zombie's a little different in our story, just like yours has pears, which is really cool. This basically, food is scarce in the world at this point. Scientists over bioengineer the food that is left. And when they do this, it causes a vine-like infection inside inside humans. And then instead of them wanting to eat brains or coming after you because they want to feed, they're trying to bring you back to the earth. So they're kind of infecting you into this vine-like infection, and then go back to Earth. So it's basically humanity tries to go against Mother Nature, and Mother Nature's winning. And the way the robots get involved is there's not enough humanity left to fight these zombies off anymore. So humanity builds robots to fight this war in our place. And once they do that, eventually humanity dies off, and there's only one girl left, and we don't know how or why at this point. And so since there's no reason for the robots to fight anymore, he's just rusting away at the beginning of the book. And he hears a scream in that first page, and he goes into action because he was built to save humanity. So now he has a reason to fight again, and he has all these kind of crazy, powers, I guess you'd say. He's got like the go-go gadget arms, he's stilt arms, and he's got a flamethrower, and quirky, and it's just a lot of action. there's horror involved as well, but it's more light horror and more action sci-fi for this book. And this is my first try in a one shot. So this book, as long as it does well, which I think it will, and actually we hit minimum funding last night, which is awesome. About 8 days into the campaign, and as long as it keeps on going like this, I have a plan to do 3 one shots in this universe, different time frames, different characters, and then I'll do a finale for a 4th issue to culminate all 3 one shots into one big thing. So
nice.
That's our plans.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I just backed it right now. So
Awesome.
congratulations.
It looks so good. Both of these books look so good. And like I said, this isn't me just saying it because you're on. It's like I legitimately love both your work. So I'm exciting to read both of these. And you have a shirt too. And people, man, I have limited income. Those are some badass shirts that I walk around and people are like, ooh, what's that? And it's like, all right. It's like when you wear the band that no one knows and you're like, ooh, let me tell you about this. So yeah, this is these are both exciting. You got zombies. I mean, how can you go wrong? Let's bring back the zombie renaissance. Come on, Disney. Well, not Disney. You'll make just more.
I don't want Disney touching my
Come on, HBO Max or whatever you're called now. That's what we need. We need the long running series of this. So let's. I have forgotten to run any of my ads. I'm going to run a couple ads before I talk about mine, and then I'll give you a little bit about Immortal Era. And I saw that you are using Immortal Era as one of your stretch goals, so that's good. 125 backers, you get Immortal Era. I heard that book's good. You should get it.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome.
I read it. It's awesome.
All right. So here we go. Now we'll play our second ad. We have 4 to play, so I need to be better and play them throughout the show, but I always wait till the end and like, whoops, my bad. But yeah, I'll play this one, and then I'll talk about mine, then we'll play the last ones. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Immortal Era. So I'm going to share my campaign. I'll make it brief because if you watch the show, you've heard about it before, and I'm not going to keep saying the same thing, but I'll give you a little brief summary of what the story's all about. So this is issue 10 of Immortal Era. It's a planned 24-issue series. I need to do more one-shots. I mean, I'm actually writing a one-shot right now because he's writing like everything in giant universes. It's nice to just tell one quick story and know you can come back to it. But yeah, that's for another day. So Immortal Era number 10. This is the ongoing story of a world where everyone has gained immortality. So in this world, everyone has become immortal, but no one gained powers or abilities. So they're still aging. They're still getting sick. one of the characters in the story that we see is just a decapitated head who continues living on. So this world, immortality is not a gift, it's a curse. And the heroes of the story are out trying to find any way they can to bring death back into the world. But of course, there's always opposition to that. We have a group of witches who have found a way to stop aging through the immortal era. So they're not going to let this group succeed without a fight. So they're trying to stop them. And it kind of, this book blends just gritty action and fantasy elements. And in issue 10, our heroes are trying to break in to what is called, they're called aid soldiers by our heroes, but the rest of the world just calls them the Guardian Force. They're trying to break into the headquarters because one of the relics that they need to find to bring death back into the world is hidden in there, but they also want to disable the soldiers because they're tormenting people on the surface. And if someone tries to come out from the underground subway where most of the world lives, they have their head popped and they're killed, even though I guess you're not going to die. They'll throw the body back in, let the cannibals feed on it. And they're trying to make sure that these soldiers can be disarmed and there can be not this divide in the world where people are stuck either in the surface or below it. So we're nearly funded. We are, I believe, $101 away from being funded. So I'm confident we're going to get there. I've already ordered the books. I've ordered the stretch goals that have been unlocked. And the issue 11 art is done. The issue 12 art is done. So it's going to be the fastest turnaround. So pretty much once I fulfill this campaign, I'll throw issue 11 up. And then once that's fulfilled, issue 12. And that will lead to volume 2 of the trade.
Hey, congratulations. 10 issues is nothing to shake your finger. You know what I mean? Like that's a good run.
Yeah, I'm happy. It's when you first start, it's like every one issue is just an uphill battle. So being at 10, almost completing the next trade, it feels good. So hoping that this one gets that last little bit it needs. And then just like I said, we're not going to waste time. I'm going to jump right back in with issue 11 and 12. And then I do have my one shot coming out that Dan Schmidt, who's done the Worms Crawl In and Worms Crawl Out and done a lot of the stuff in the Cthulhu series, he's going to be doing the art for it. And it's a one shot about a person who develops eye floaters like I did. And they end up corrupting his brain, which it didn't actually do that, but they corrupt his brain, make him a homicidal killer. And the entire book was written in hospital waiting rooms. So that's the kind of fun fact about that. I was in a waiting room for 17 hours and the nurse came up to me, like I hadn't eaten. It was just a rough day. And she goes, "What can I get you?" I'm like, "A pad of paper and a pen." And I was just like blowing through this story. So that's my little one shot, but the universe would always exist because the floaters always exist. But it's one of those, I'm writing it as a one shot because it's not a headspace I want to return to anytime soon.
Yeah.
The 17 hours in a hospital waiting room headspace is a different mindset than most people want to live in.
True.
But I thought I'm already living in this, so why not make a good story out of it?
I'm sure being in the hospital helped to change how the story would be. If you were at home relaxing, it would have been totally different too.
Yeah. Very true. It was some of the stuff that happens in the story actually happened when I was in the waiting room. Like there's this homeless woman in the story who, when I left the hospital, I mean, after the worst day, I mean, I've had to have 17 hours, 3 different hospitals. I had to keep moving around and had this eye surgery done. And this homeless woman runs up to me, starts shaking. And she's like, "You're not real. You're not real. You know." I'm like, damn, I got to revise the story because go in. So yeah, then the next day I go out for a run, which I shouldn't have. Everyone's like, "What the hell were you doing going out for a run after a surgery?" I'm like, "Well, the doctor never said I couldn't." My wife's like, "Did you actually ask the doctor?" I'm like, Now we're just arguing semantics, but you know. So as I'm out on my run, I'm running and I get bit by a dog. I'm like, this story is writing itself. It's beautiful.
Jeez.
So yeah,
Cool.
then it's like my wife's like, that was the universe telling you shouldn't have gone on that run. I'm like, could have been, but I just think it was another a good chapter for the story. So
Yeah, it's just a gold mine for your story. Exactly.
yeah, the story's
And
writing
you turn
itself.
into a
I
dog
hope
man.
it gets worse. No.
Yeah, it's like, please, no more. I don't want any more new chapters for this story. It's been bad enough.
Yep. Mm.
All right, so we got 2 more ads to play, and then we play out our outro. So while we're playing, before we play these ads, thank you so much for coming on. It's
Thank
been
you.
so much fun. Conversation has been great. You are welcome anytime if you want to come on again before your campaigns close. You're always welcome. Know that it'll be random new topics, so you won't have to come and talk about the same thing. And yeah, thank you so much. Their work is great. I'm not just saying it. You definitely want to go pick both of these books up. They look great. They're going to be fun. Steve will make you laugh. I don't do comedy, so you got to go to him for the good laughs.
I do think for this show, every Christmas you should do a Christmas story, or no, sorry, Christmas Vacation 2 as a live watch, and then people can be introduced to how badly that the movie is.
Yeah,
I'd watch
that would be fun. We need to do that in a place that we can do it like Mystery Science Theater style,
Yes,
but not
exactly.
get yanked
Nice.
off. But
Exactly.
yeah, you know what?
People will be-
Christmas time.
Love it.
I know Pops, who runs the network, has one platform that doesn't get flagged for different copyright things. So I'm thinking that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Bring us back for Christmas, live watch the movie, and just Mystery Science Theater the thing.
Exactly.
That'd
Yes.
be awesome.
Live watch. I think that people would love it.
Because oh my gosh, that movie, the jokes to make fun of it write themselves. It is too easy, because I mean that was the only thing that kind of kept me sane, was just talking shit about it as it was playing. So yeah, we have to do it. So like, there we go. We're putting this down sometime in December, the live watch with us in this room watching Christmas Vacation 2, and Sean's favorite Christmas movie will get tarnished a bit. Although, I mean, really, is Cousin Eddie going to get ruined? Because it's not like he's this character we all love so much.
I mean, he's ruined in real life. The real guy who plays him is Adam.
Yeah, he's a complete lunatic in real life. So Fish is going to be there. Yeah, you can join us. We'll get like as many as we can fit in the room. We'll be teeny heads on the side as we're watching the movie, and we can talk over each other.
Yes,
Who the hell
exactly.
cares? Because we're just talking shit about a cinematic turd.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
All right. So
Right. Shitters Full coming December.
Yes. Oh man. See, we'll have you do our taglines. We're ready for
You
it.
do shirts, everything. Yeah.
Oh man. See, this is now got to do. We gotta make this an event that people must see TV of December. Like, do you need to watch Christmas Story for the 15th time today? No. Watch Christmas Vacation 2 for the first time in your life, and watch us talk shit. And
I'm sure you
comment
could
shit.
get somebody from the cast too to pop on. I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's gotta be
I'm sure if I got $50, I could get the original Audrey.
yeah, the original Audrey.
If she came back for that thing, it's like, all right, she can't have a high price tag. So it's like, dude, I got we can each pitch in $50 and get the original Audrey to come in and do like her own commentary. I mean, damn it, this is going to be beautiful.
That's awesome.
And in November, don't think I'm going to put it in my phone. Like, this must happen. I just got to talk to Pops about like, where can we stream it? Because the moment we start playing the movie on YouTube, there it goes.
Yeah.
Like copyright. Facebook yanking it for copyright. But I know there's a couple platforms, and it has to happen. That sounds like the greatest idea of the day
Discord
right
might
now.
be a good place for that too.
Which one?
Discord.
Yeah, you're right. Discord, and then I forget the one because that's where he plays the music before we do our show on Wednesday. So there's one. So we have Discord and we have another one. But yes, oh my gosh, that's the best idea ever. And and let
on tickets, but you're gonna get this.
yeah, and the Kate Bush people, it's not gonna like I'm gonna have Kate Bush people get pissed unless Cousin Eddie himself is like, you motherfuckers, how dare you talk about this? This was my moment. But oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even want to spoil it. There's so many bad aspects of this movie, but if you haven't watched it yet, let's just let them unfold in real time.
Absolutely.
Oh my
I
god,
agree.
that is beautiful. All right, so we got 2 more sponsor videos, then we play out our exit video. So we'll play those and then wrap it up for the day. All right, and now our final sponsor ad from Brett. He's in the group that I know Sean and I are in. So Brett with his Maba moles, he funded quick, so that's a beautiful thing. And I bought a few of these, lots of fun. So let's check it out.
Welcome to Based on a True Story, Volume 6, Tales of the Underworld, where true crime collides with the furry, funny, and fierce world of the Dust Bunny Mafia. This brand new 32-page comic reimagines real mafia legends, Mad Dog Cole, John Gotti, and more, through the eyes of our animal mobsters. Think The Godfather meets Looney Tunes, packed with action, humor, and full-color storytelling.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And thank you for joining me on this show. It's a great conversation. Had a blast. And I won't be live for a while now because I have cons all through March. So my March is loaded with cons. So I'll be live, but just kind of doing walkthroughs of each of the different cons that I'm working. So next live show, I think it's like third week of March where I'll have actual guests on. So thank you for joining me today. And find their projects, back their projects. You will not regret them. And we will see you in a few weeks.
Click on the tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide.